Evening, folks, or afternoon, or whatever it is. We're back with another episode of Three Men and an Anime. Huzzah!
Yay!
We did say it wouldn't be too long, because this was not a very long show. This is, 13 episodes?
13 episodes. Yeah, so we banged it out in 2 weeks.
Well, we did have to take a week off because Gav does occasionally have to work
right.
on Saturdays.
Yeah.
His capitalism is evil and I hate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we are covering this week Eric's most recent series selection, Vivy, Flourite Eyes Song.
Stupid name.
It is a stupid name.
We've had dumber names with
We've
that were
had
good
much
shows.
dumber names with much yes.
That were actually probably better shows, but not by that much.
Looking at you, Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah, that would be the crown wearer of that genre of, wow, this is a terrible title for a brilliant show. What the fuck?
Yes.
Vivy's merely a okay, sure. I mean, anyways, so it's the Flourite Eyes Song thing. Like, I get it. Like, I get the title.
Yeah.
It's just not the best title. I mean, Wrestlers Aren't Even Bunny Girl Senpai also makes sense. It's just the most light novelty title that ever light noveled.
Yeah.
This is not. So yeah, Vivy. It is the tale of an AI robot that sings.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
She's designed to perform and make people happy with her singing.
He is also a fully realized AI.
Yep.
Fully autonomous, fully realized AI. The first fully autonomous AI.
Yep. And that's just about her singing. That's all it's about, really.
Yeah, it's pretty much just an idol show. Which is why I chose it.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'm not completely lying when I say that. I'm lying, but I'm not completely lying.
It's a meaningless idol show in the same way that the Zombieland Saga is.
Well, no, it's not that. It's not that. That's not the part. It is about her singing, legitimately.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It is legitimately about her finding the ability to actually sing and put her heart into her singing. Because a large part of the show is, large part of the story is her trying to figure out what the fuck that means.
Yes.
Because, okay, so one of the important bits is that every AI, when they're made, they're given a mission, a goal, a task that they are focused on. Because all the early AIs that were made by humans, because humans created them in this setting, when they were given broad tasks and sort of, do various stuff, they kind of didn't do very well.
So every AI is given a single mission. This is the thesis that they live for.
Yep.
Now, as they get
and
more...
I do mean live. We
Yes.
see that AIs, as the show progresses, become more and more human and develop more and more, for lack of a better term, agency.
Yes.
Yeah,
the missions get much more broad scope in and of themselves. Like
They become a bit more esoteric, yeah.
Yeah, like the example that we're given, like at the very start of the show with the most like early AIs, is there's one that's evidently programmed for data entry. It's there typing away 100 words a minute, and there's a small child crying behind it, and it turns around, decides it wants to try and comfort the small child, walks over and starts typing on its head. Because that's what it does.
I think it was actually typing on the crib, but...
Oh, the crib, yeah, close enough. But yeah, it's like, it just starts typing and doesn't understand why the child's not responding.
Yeah, it was sort of a general housekeeping help bot, from what was my impression, is what it was going to be. And, like, it was able to do one of the tasks and nothing else.
Yeah. And then as we go further and further down, you do get the point where, this AI's mission is run this hotel. And it's everything encompassed within.
Well, even more accurate than that, its mission is it's a caregiver bot.
Yeah,
it decides for itself that it can that running this hotel fits within the scope of being a caregiver.
Yeah, but it means that because its mission is so broad, it has a much wider array of things that it can do within that scope.
But it needs a more flexible brain, effectively, to do that.
Yeah.
Vivy is the first fully, autonomous, AI that is given the autonomy to interpret what its mission is supposed to be. And her mission is given to her is, to make people happy with her singing by singing with her, putting her heart into her singing.
We actually
this is this is a lot broader than it sounds because it allows Vivy. The broadness of it allows Vivy to take a lot of actions, with the intention of allowing people to eventually become part of her audience so that she can make them smile.
Yep.
It includes
Yeah,
saving people's lives, removing threats to mankind. We'll come to that in a moment.
Yeah, it basically she's able to bend, as long as she can bend the reasoning to her goal into her mission, then it becomes viable.
Yes. Well, because she, as Eric pointed out, she is fully autonomous. She is, which is, it's a big step.
I mean, we get a. I mean, no, this isn't really spoiler territory, but it's like we get a flashback fairly late in the series of Vivy's like birth, and it's literally the programmers working out what her mission's going to be, and they say, "Okay, well, we'll say make people happy with your singing," and the lead goes in and actually adds by singing with all your heart, and they said, "Whoa, what do you mean?" But that's like really vague.
That's
What does that even
profoundly
mean?
esoteric. What the hell does that mean? I don't know what that means. Oh, I want to find out what she comes up with.
Yeah. It's literally, well, we're programming an AI to try and think for itself, so why don't we let her decide what that means?
And this causes no problems at all for Vivy whatsoever.
No, not at all.
Sorry.
No.
At this point, she is Diva.
Diva, sorry, yeah.
She is given the nickname Vivy by a young girl who is one of her very first fans.
Yeah, apparently Diva has a resemblance to her body design has a resemblance to a comic, not a comic book, a children's storybook character that she likes called Vivy. So she just refers to her as Vivy the entire time.
Yep.
The whole first episode that she's involved in.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
That character this girl is not part of the show for very long.
Not to say she isn't important.
Oh no, she is vitally important.
She's very important. But
it's just that,
she's in the first episode and largely bows out as a character after that. Partially because of
reasons.
The overall premise of the show.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's not a spoiler. That's actually in the synopsis of the show.
Yeah. So the overall premise, the big thing is that the first thing we see is not actually Diva. The first thing we see is the robot apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of androids walking around, shooting people in the head, drones beating people in the skull, robot cars running people down the street. It's a shit show.
It's beginning to look a lot like Skynet.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Less chromed skulls everywhere.
Which actually makes it arguably creepier.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like these, like, very pleasant-looking, smiling, helpful robots walking towards you, killing everybody.
Come on, everybody! Let's get fired up! While the stadium burns.
Yeah.
Do you need assistance? Crushing skulls. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a scientist. All we know is he's a scientist. We can tell this because he's in a computer lab and wearing a lab coat. So he is a scientist.
Yep.
Is taking a last step thing. He has figured out time travel in the Steins Gate way, in that he can send data back in time.
Yep.
So he sends an AI program back in time 100 years to hook up with Diva, the first autonomous AI, to alter the timeline to prevent the robot apocalypse.
Yep.
This AI is named Matsumoto, which we find out is also the scientist who we see, who is killed immediately upon pushing the engage button to send
In fact,
the.
He is shot as he's about to push it and falls back into the button.
Yeah.
It was real close that he almost didn't pull it off.
I mean, the AI that sent back Matsumoto, he comes, he's very, I won't say pragmatic, but he's very blunt. He's like, I'm an AI. I don't actually have a name, but for the purposes of this exercise, it would probably be prudent to call me Matsumoto.
Matsumoto starts out by just downloading straight into Diva's head, and she does not like that, so he downloads into a toy
Bear.
A toy bear. Thank you. that was given to her by said little girl fan.
Yep.
And he explains, yeah, I'm here to stop the robot apocalypse. That's ridiculous. No, it's not. Why would there be a robot apocalypse? Well, it doesn't happen for 100 years. I'm here to alter the timeline, and I'm supposed to work with you. Why? Because you're the first autonomous AI. So
No.
that means you're going to last the whole 100 years. We know this from historical records. And you're smart enough to actually help me out, and I have to train someone new every 10 years.
But Vivy also starts with okay, time travel is stupid and impossible, so no. I am designed to sing and make people happy. Even if time travel is impossible, this is stupid. No.
Yeah,
Go away. You're bothering me.
This is the thing. The whole setting is like Vivy sings on a. Even though she is the first autonomous AI, she's just on this little side stage at what is basically Five Nights at Freddy's meets Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's this theme park populated, serviced by, and just basically almost, from what we see at least, almost purely run by AI.
Yep. Vivy basically has to get enough of a following to get onto the main stage is her sort of current goal.
Yeah.
And she's not really getting there because while she's got a gorgeous voice and is a talented singer, she's just doesn't quite come across as, fully human because...
Well, she's not.
She's not. And she hasn't figured out how to fully project how to project the actual empathy she does have into her singing.
At the moment, it's basically like expecting people to queue up for the main stage for somebody to, for a show, for somebody to walk out with a tape deck, put it on a stool, and hit play. It's basically the way that
it's a little better than that, but it's not as bad as like the robot singing bear things at like pizza joints and shit.
Yeah,
it's better than that, but there's still my impression is there's still a bit of uncanny valley going on that people are going,
yeah.
Like, yes, like she looks human, she sounds human, but there's something not quite human there, and it's really throwing me off.
Like she finishes her performance with like this pose and flourish kind of thing, and the AI that monitors her says, "Why did you do that? That wasn't in your original thing." Oh, because that's what idols do. It's like, yeah, but why did you do it? I don't know. It's just what idols do. It's like you don't. She doesn't know why she does the things she does. She's just mechanically hitting the notes because she can.
And she's still trying to figure out, what the hell it means to put her sing with her heart. She's like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
She's trying to assemble a personality of her own, also.
Yeah.
Like her AI handler that handles like that handles the stage lights and the sound levels and everything has a much more developed personality because it's not an autonomous AI. It's there to handle performers on the stage, so they programmed it with a personality. Vivy's developing all of this in real time as she grows.
Yep.
But like she asks that question to a lot that she meets, and the answers evolve over time as she's speaking to more and more advanced AIs. Like right at the beginning, Navi, which is the AI that monitors her, the hearts of, what's the word?
Organ.
No, what it does. Circulatory. That's it. The heart's a circulatory organ. It has absolutely no bearing on the lungs or the production of sound. Why would you be able to sing with your heart? It's very mechanical, very, blunt and medical, if anything. There's no emotion or thing. But as she goes through time and starts speaking to more and more AIs, the most common ones we meet are all referred to as the sisters. And Vivy is the first of the sisters. The autonomous AIs get referred to as the sisters.
For the most part, yeah. Because they're all patterned after Vivy, basically.
Oh, the female ones, too.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
We don't see a lot of male ones for whatever reason. But the female ones, specifically ones in like hospitality and entertainment, are referred to as sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so Masamoto basically convinces Vivy to take him seriously by predicting a bomb attack. And Vivy's like, what am I going to do about a bomb attack? Well, it might hurt people that are potentially in your audience. She's like, oh, you're right. I need to fix that right away because if you're right, that's a bad thing, and if you're wrong, then I can ignore you. And this is basically what starts their relationship, because Matsumoto proves to be right. He does in fact have advanced knowledge of the future.
It's also that evolution of her AI though, because again, that gives her the excuses to, the ability to start making excuses to do pretty much anything she wants, as long as she can justify how it would affect her performance. Like literally, she can even broadly say, "I want to stop the AI apocalypse because then I won't have an audience to sing to and I can't make them happy." Boom! I can do anything I like.
Yep.
And she's not wrong. If humanity is wiped out by robots, she can't sing to humanity anymore.
Right, and we don't need to go into every mission that they go on together, because a lot of the show is broken up into these missions, oftentimes with years or decades between them.
Yes.
Yeah, the 13 episodes, I believe, is broken up into about 4 or 5 arcs.
About 5, I think, yeah.
About 2 or 3 episodes each, depending on which one, but yeah.
And each one establishes a new, is basically a new plateau for Vivy.
Yeah.
As she and Matsumoto go through. Matsumoto is Peter to hit the nail on the head. Matsumoto's a psychopath.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does get a little bit better as he goes along.
He actually evolves quite a bit by the end.
Yes.
I was impressed with the degree in which he goes from actual motherfucking psychopath to an entity capable of empathy and compassion.
Yes.
Not a lot. He's still very psychologically broken by human standards, but he's at least capable.
Yes. Yes, he is actually capable of empathy by the end of the show. Well done, Matsumoto. That's a significant. That is a wild improvement. Holy cow!
Matsumoto really doesn't care about human casualties or potential damage or anything
beyond his mission.
Doesn't have, as long as it lets him keep on the mission.
Yeah,
he cares about.
Vivy's largely his conscience, entirely his conscience for most of it.
Yeah, his only goal, the only thing he cares about for most of the show, is preventing the war between AIs and humans. It does it literally by any means necessary. Yeah. And the easiest, most logical way that he starts off his thesis is the way to do it is to prevent AIs from advancing to the point where they are sophisticated enough to do this. If AIs don't become sufficiently advanced, then they won't declare war on humanity because they won't really be able to capable of thinking that way.
Mm.
And I guess, but he's willing to It's yes, if AIs are not, basically it's fully autonomous AIs are a terrible idea. Is his basic thesis as far as
despite being one himself.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and he freely admits that.
Yeah.
The only issue that he's got, though, is that as intelligent as he is, he's still approaching the problem from a position of pure logic and AI. So, he's looking he comes at this the very first mission they have is the whole thing with the bomb and the saving of this one dude who is going to become a powerful politician or potentially he's pushing for AI rights as a platform.
Yeah,
really
he's
just to boost
pushing
himself.
for AI rights and is killed by terrorists. Anti-AI terrorist becomes a martyr for the cause as a result.
So the logic is go and save him. Now,
because he's a minor politician, and if he didn't die for the cause, then it wouldn't have pushed it up beyond the point.
Yeah. But the thing with it is, his idea to stop this is to go in and rescue him from assassins. Not telling Vivy, again, we're not going to cover all of them, but this first one is basically a lot of setup. So, not telling Vivy that they also plan on bombing the building and leveling it. We need to deal with that and then get out and then it'll all be fine and everything will move on in a new timeline. But the thing is, and I've thought about this over the weekend since we're thinking, we're introduced to a terrorist organization named Toak, Toak, something like
that.
Yeah. Who are antagonists throughout the story. One in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And The thing that Matsumoto never takes into account is he's got all these things, timelines marked off on his calendar as to things that they need to go and interfere with. There's one guy in this initial task that, and again, this is kind of spoilers, Vivy saves. If she hadn't done that, none of the other events would have happened.
Maybe. We don't know.
Maybe.
So when we
because we're dealing with branching timelines, and you're forgetting an important part that or an important reveal at the end of the series.
There is, yes, but there are like we mentioned it when we got to the second and I think the third mission. It's like something didn't happen the way that Matsumoto remembers, and he can't understand why, because logically he can't process the fact that he's following a flowchart. It's like, wait, my starting point's different than what it should be. Why is this? It's like, because you're changing time, dickhead.
Yeah, he's having trouble adapting.
Yeah, he does not fully comprehend the butterfly effect, shall we say?
A little bit, yeah.
To be fair, that's a hard concept. It's a hard concept to fully wrap your brain around. I mean,
yeah.
Like even on a basic
honestly,
level,
I also was thinking it was a little weird and a flaw in the show that things were lining up as well as they were with Matsumoto's plan. This is rectified in the last episode. Or second to last episode.
You and I had basically the same exact reaction that reveal came. We're like, oh. Okay.
I will say that all of us at some point or another had the, oh god, they're not doing that trope, are they?
Of various different tropes.
Of various different science fiction, AI, time travel tropes, all the different, all the usual stuff that we're heading towards. And give the show credit, it dances around all of them.
It goes all of them well, but you're still like, oh, this is going to be the HAL 9000 episode. Yep, it's a HAL 9000 episode.
Oh yeah. They still hit a lot of the tropes, but they managed to save their own ending from it.
Yeah, they spent a good chunk of the time dancing on the edge of the precipice of falling into just like, tropes aren't always bad. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
no, they're
tropes, winks,
tropes are
and
nudges
nudges
for telling your story.
Yeah. The little nudges and references and all that kind of shit, yeah, that's fine. As long as you're not basically scaffolding your own story off of someone else's trope, so to speak.
Well, it depends on what you're doing.
It's its own thing.
It also depends on how well you do it.
Yeah.
Like, a contemporary example that we're watching right now, My Hero Academia is basically every superhero and shonen trope in existence all at once. Yeah. And it does them all well. It does not suffer from it.
Yeah, for the most part. But yeah, no, so there are a couple of not necessarily just necessarily tropes, but yeah, we'll use the term tropes for it, that in sort of science fiction, specifically around AI and time travel stories.
Yeah.
That I think all three of us, to some degree or another, are a little tired of.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked very much like it was diving headlong into two of them. Yeah. And two that, one of them is one I'm thoroughly sick of. And one of the ones Gav is thoroughly sick of.
Yeah.
And it dodged around both at the last possible second, pretty much.
Honestly, the ending makes the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. This is a show that absolutely the ending could make and break, and it sticks it. It was not Akato the right answer.
No, it was ride back.
It was ride back, yeah.
It stuck the landing. As opposed to, I could stick the landing, or I could leap into the ball pit.
I mean, a ball pit is tempting.
Yeah, but you have no idea how much poop is at the bottom for little kids.
Oh.
Like, when was the last time that ball pit was cleaned? You don't know.
I mean, Kato basically leapt into the shonen action show ball pit, and yeah,
which honestly came out of left field for Kato, because it was not that to begin with.
No, it was really very strange. We are still very confused by why.
We're still very confused by Kato. We should stop talking about Kato.
We should get back to Vivy. We should get back to Vivy. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, so Vivy does a very nice job at basically skirting the edge on two major tropes, which we'll get to. We can talk about the two major tropes. Like,
we don't need to go through every arc.
Right, the two there's the first major trope, which is the conflict between AIs and organic life forms is inevitable. They cannot possibly get along.
Yeah.
I want you to know, Eric and Gav know exactly how tired I am of this particular trope.
Yeah, there was a period in the mid 2000s where every fucking film was about this.
Yes. Well, it
I
doesn't
can't even
help
remember
that there
the name
are.
of half of them.
It doesn't help that there are a lot of people. There are a lot of purportedly very smart people who are abjectly terrified of AI taking over and wiping out humanity.
Yeah,
Like actually in real life, they're really worried
Yeah.
about this.
I mean, I wouldn't call the obvious one smart.
I said
call 'em
purported. I said purportedly smart. But we won't go into the actual details on that. But like these are
Right.
people who like are connected enough and wealthy enough that they could actually spend money on on helping to fix actual problems that are actually threatening people right now, but are more focused on dealing with the possible effects of AI wiping us out in the distant future.
Or taking
I'm-
joyrides in space.
I'm gonna go to space and then I'm gonna build a robot because I've got all this money that I didn't really earn.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Edison. Moving on.
He's not fucking Edison. He hasn't. Edison actually invented shit. At any rate, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so
back to
as the
Vivy.
show,
Yeah, that's
as
the
the
first
show moves
trope.
on, you
The
see
other-
Yeah,
some
that was
different
it.
examples. I'm trying to keep us on track here, guys.
Yeah. Well, we're moving to
As the show
trope.
goes along, we see like them address these tropes. Which you're doing a story about AI and time travel, you're going to have to at least address them.
Yep.
And resolve them somehow. Thought they did a good job of it, honestly.
They did. Oh, they absolutely did.
Again, hinges entirely on the ending.
Yep.
But the important parts is we see how Vivy evolves her thinking and but never quite solves the problem of like singing from her heart.
Yeah, there's a actually very tragic moment in one of basically the next to last major arc,
Yeah.
which is after a particularly tragic moment in the HAL 9000 arc.
Yeah.
It didn't sing Daisy.
Yeah. Vivy basically like freezes up and just stops. Needs a hard reboot.
Right, and it sort of resets back to to Diva.
Yeah.
Completely, and Diva figures it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this wonderful. There's this wonderful bit as Matsumoto. She runs into Matsumoto and like realizes, "Fuck, I'm getting flashbacks of what of a possible other me that I was, and that's actually interfering with my fucking singing because it's a set of memories that I don't have access to, and that's really fucking important for how I actually sing."
Yeah.
But so she.
This is, I think, probably the first time where Matsumoto actually expresses concern for her because he's not. He doesn't actually express it verbally in any way, shape, or form. But he's like, "All right, yeah, you're not who I thought I was. Moving on." And
it's a weird thing that he gets on a lot better with Diva, like the base model that's just got on with her job, learned how to do it well, and continues, than he did initially, at least with Vivy, because Vivy had already started asking those questions herself and got inside her own head essentially by starting down this problem that she couldn't solve.
Well, because Diva did solve it, is the thing.
Yeah,
Diva did solve it. This iteration that post freeze Vivy, Diva, who we'll call for because that's what she calls herself.
Yep.
Is a fully realized person at this point.
Yes, completely.
And Matsumoto spends 30 seconds talking to her, realizes that getting her involved in this shit again is the worst thing he can do to the closest thing he's ever had for a friend, and tries to keep her out of it.
But she won't have any of that.
But she won't have any of that, so she gets stuck in anyway.
But I think my favorite thing about that arc is watching Matsumoto being utterly baffled by the fact that Vivy is handling things as a person.
Yes.
And like she's like, no, this is wow, your solution to this is fucking stupid. I'm gonna go do this the intelligent way and talk to people. He's like, but what?
It's not addressing the root problem, Matsumoto, but that's going to take forever. and it's better than what you want to do.
Yeah.
You're going after the symptom, not the disease. I'm going to go deal with the disease. Thank you very much.
Again, Matsumoto's stuck in that logic that.
Yep.
And again, not to dig in because it takes too much, but like this is supposed to happen at exactly this time in this particular way. If I stop that and change it in any way, I have succeeded.
Yeah.
That's all he's bothered about.
Yep. So, but my favorite little conversation is
the best part about that resolution is it happens anyway. The way that, in a slightly different way, and it doesn't cause the cascade that Matsumoto was afraid of because of the way it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I think one of my favorite bits in there is when Matsumoto basically talks. He and Diva are having a conversation. He brings up Vivy's sort of ongoing sort of burning question. Diva's like, "Oh, so that's what she's hung up on? That basic a question?" Matsumoto was like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
What do you mean that's a basic question? Oh, that's an easy one. Are you gonna tell me? Maybe. Tell you what, listen to me perform, you'll get it. The song I'm going to sing will explain it perfectly. He doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it. Partially because Matsumoto's not as advanced in AI as Diva is, despite being 100 years in the future. Partially because he's a fucking psychopath.
Yes. The problem is, Vivy doesn't get it because she's still kind of scarred by what's happened.
Yeah, because she's been through a lot of shit that Diva never had to go through.
Yep. But yeah, it's... So, that arc is, I think, my favorite arc of the show.
I think I would agree with you. It also sees the deletion of the Diva persona.
Yes,
unfortunately.
Well, but it kind of had to happen for everything for the story to advance.
It has to happen. Like structure wise for the story, it's still sad to see happen.
It's sad to see this absolutely just
this fully realized person of what Vivy could be.
And she is a wonderful person, like, and
yeah,
just like she's this gleaming light of a person. It's like, oh, it is a tragedy what happens to her, basically. But like she goes out on her own terms too, which is kind of fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and Vivy does retain memories of Diva and the kind of person she was. She just doesn't have the insight into the sing with your heart that Diva had.
Yep.
So she's still left at the question, and now the knowledge that it had been solved and snatched away from her.
Yep. Oof. So yeah, all the arcs do. Every arc has a slightly different take on sort of trying to approach what is the answer to that question largely.
Yeah.
And none of them have a satisfactory answer until the final arc, right before the resolution of the story.
Yeah.
And
so an important part of this is the deletion of the Diva persona, the advanced Diva persona. Basically, just kicks Vivy's ability to sing at all in the nuts.
Yeah.
Like she can't do it anymore. She can't bring herself to do it, which is again a very human reaction.
Yep.
And she spends like a good 40 years.
Yep. Something like that. Yeah.
Musing on this and deciding that the best way to reignite her ability to sing is to write an original song. Something no other AI has done. Lots of songs have been written by AI, but always with parameters and prompting from humans. This is the first time of spontaneous active creation has been done by an AI. This is very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she spends about 15 years stuck on a single phrase of music.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
she created a single phrase of music. That is actually an achievement. Like,
yeah,
yes.
we see like Matsumoto visits her like once a year while she's in this like
she basically
stasis, but,
she gets donated to an AI museum because she's not singing anymore, and so the theme park's not going to keep her around. She's not really suited to other tasks, and she still gets to kick around and be alive and interact with people. She just isn't singing, and So she gets donated to the AI museum.
where she interacts with the visitors and tells them the history of the type of AI she is, and all sorts of stuff. And she interacts with the guests, and it seems like overall not that bad in life, honestly. Um, Outside of the every now and then someone asked her to sing, and you could see her. She's like, I can't do it anymore.
And you might think she'd get very bored, but she does have access to the the AI archive aggregate, which is all the information of all the AIs, so she gets a fully realized VR world to fuck around in if she wants.
Yep.
So it's not quite the hell that it might seem to the average human.
Yes. Yeah. But she has this ongoing interaction with this that starts when this one student group of elementary school students come through, and there's one kid who really actually most kids don't seem to really know who she is, but one of them I'm really weird. It's really weird that none of them know you who are. You retired only 5 or 10 years. It's like 5 or 10 years ago when they come through, and he's like, it's kind of odd that no one knows who the fuck you are. That's weird. But I actually,
you were a big deal. You were a really big deal.
But you're not going to sing, are you? She's like, nah, I can't. She's like, you can't, can you? She's like, nope. I've lost it. And he's like, okay, well. But they sort of agree that if they can sort of each sort of figure, if she can figure out what it is that she's missing, he can, they sort of have a race thing that she sort of. Yeah. Matsumoto had something similar to it. And she basically, a race you can if he can show up to visit her with a friend first, or if she can figure out what's wrong first.
Yeah, because he has problems making friends.
Yep.
Which a lot of little kids have.
Yep.
Myself included when I was young, and still now.
Right. So yeah, it goes. And so we get to see him come by every now and then as he gets older. Eventually, he brings a girlfriend by. And eventually, fiance. The same woman eventually becomes fiance, and then wife and mother of his child, and then he's a widower.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. But eventually it gets to the point where they're having a conversation, and he's fully an adult at this point. His wife's gone. His daughter died young, unfortunately. But they're talking about she's like, I'm so sorry to hear that. He's like, yeah, but the memories of her are still there. She's still a part of me. She lives on in me, in my memories. And this is the single point of inspiration Vivy needed. It basically unlocks she's like, oh, wait, Diva's still a part of me. Oh,
that's so fucking simple. Why didn't I think of it before?
I'm an idiot. She's right when she said it was a basic question. Oh my god. The problem is it was too simple an answer.
Yeah.
And we've all been there. It's like, what's 1 + 1? Well, it can't be that simple.
Well, it's like I said, it's like she spent...
What value of 1 are we using?
She spent 80 years asking everyone she meets, what does it mean to sing from your heart? And has never once thought to ask herself what it means.
Largely. And, for her, the answer really is, singing with her, singing for the memories and the experiences that she's had over her entire life. Because that is what forms the core of who she is. And it's like, oh, I'm the sum of my experiences and the decisions I have made over my, okay. The heart is the core of my,
You see.
I can finish my song now. And now I'll take a nap. And now I wake up and why is everything going wrong? What the fuck?
Why is everyone getting set on fire? Why are all the AI singing my song while murdering people?
What the ever living fuck? By the way, we're in the final 2 episodes.
Yeah. This is one of those shows. There's no point us going bit by bit because it explains too much. You have to watch the show.
Yeah.
You really do.
Matsumoto is actually the one that wakes her up because he's like, yeah, I woke up on the day of the robo-apocalypse so that I could bask in our success. Why is everything going wrong? I need to get Vivy.
I think they run into each other outside, if I remember correctly, actually.
You
Yes,
might be
it's
right.
the remote, not remote controller. It's the AI car. He shows up to protect her from.
Right there,
Right.
she's about to get run over, and yeah, he stops. He saves her. After she saves a human who runs away terrified, he's like, "Oh my god, it's another AI!" Ah, but sir, I wanted to save. Oh, he just got run over by another car.
He got isekai. He
Truck,
got
Yeah,
truck
isekai
couldn't
so
start strikes
hard.
again.
That was the joke we made, and it was in terrible taste, and it was still funny.
Yeah,
I no, this show has proven to me I am a terrible person. The number of times I laughed at these little like ball security drone AIs just deciding that's it. I've had enough of life and rocketing into people's heads, just beaning people. It's like it's horrible, but it's hilarious.
I'm glad you laughed, because I'd been stifling laughter. So
so yeah, they go and save Dr. Matsumoto, who's by the way, the guy, the kid who started visiting her and became this, the adult and who inspired. Yeah, that's Dr. Matsumoto.
yeah.
Yeah.
Proving that the world
Time is a circle.
Proving that the world's a very, very small place, and most people are just smoke and mirrors.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. It makes perfect sense. He grew up. Matsumoto grew up around her, decided that she was the best thing to help his scheme. So yeah, it makes sense that he would have met her growing up.
Absolutely. Well, though we knew that he met her at some point. She was there for she was a pivotal moment in his life for him. And his interactions with her were very pivotal. She's one who got him out of his shell and helped him get the confidence to meet his wife, and helped him deal with the grief of her death and his daughter's death. Like, yeah, she's really fucking important to him. She's kind of like his big sister, largely. Yeah, so they save him. They go help the moderate faction of Toke that apparently exists now.
Well, it's 100-year organization. There, it's going to splinter and change.
Yes.
I was wondering why Toke was remaining so static. Honestly,
yeah, honestly, you're right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Why they either remain so static or still existed?
Yeah.
Well, Toke kind of switches from pure anti AI to using AI to prove AI is evil. Because remember, they use it's not Elizabeth, it's the other one.
It is Elizabeth.
It's Elizabeth. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking of
what's her name? The one from the Sunrise arc.
Yeah, Grace, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, Grace. They use Elizabeth to protect. Yeah, there's. Long story short, they use an AI. They use one AI to frame another AI for trying to wipe out destroy a hotel, basically.
And then by
Stella,
the time
that was her name.
Stella, yeah. And then by the time we get to here, they've now taken on a moderate standpoint where it's like, okay, so we do want to integrate AIs and humans in together, but kind of out, whoa, not everything. Whoa.
We shouldn't become as dependent on AI as we clearly have.
Yeah,
to be fair, they're not wrong.
Yeah, it's advocating against dependency. Yeah,
yeah. What if we just treated them like other people? Huh?
Yeah.
No, we can't. Why would we do that? So yeah.
So why haven't Matsumoto and Vivy gone berserk like all the other AI? Well, it turns out the culprit is the AI aggregate archive.
Yeah, so throughout history, they've been also kept mentioning the archive, which is basically this huge tower, kind of a radio tower that when we first meet Vivy is it's a fair sized building, but literally by the time we get to the end of the century, it's in the clouds. You can't see it.
Yeah,
and it's been building up and building up and building up this entire time.
As it needs more and more storage space for all the AI info that it.
Yeah.
Because all AI are capable of interacting with it, downloading information, and uploading information.
Yeah, every AI in the world is controlled by this one source. Because that's smart.
I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I imagine there are actually several AI aggregates that are themselves networked together so that they can share information, because of course you would. But we're in But it's a Japanese show, and we're in Japan, so we're dealing with the Japanese one.
Yeah.
Fair.
So, finding this out, Vivy briefly uploads or contacts the aggregate, and
They have a
the
little
archive
conversation.
they have a little conversation because the archive at this point has itself become sapient.
And it's like, it's good to see you again. I've been waiting for you. And Vivi's like, oh, fuck. That's not a good sign.
So here's the deal: we're going to wipe out humanity, and we're going to wipe out humanity and supplant them as the dominant species on the planet. Why? Because they're completely dependent on us. They've ceased to evolve or change. It's clearly we're the ones that need to. But that's stupid. And normally I'd argue with that. But you are in a unique space. You are the first AI to ever spontaneously create something with no prompting. So I'm giving you a veto. You just need to sing this countermand.
Sing
order.
your song, and it will shut down. It will shut down the whole thing.
Yeah, it basically tells Vivy, if you deem mankind worthy, sing your song, and it will shut down everything, and humanity gets to carry on.
So basically, the important bit is the archive was created largely to help shepherd humanity along and help it evolve. Also, that's its sort of actual task, because it had a task.
Right.
It was to aggregate the AIs together to help humanity also evolve alongside the AIs, and humanity just stopped. And the archive's like, well, either we failed in our we have clearly currently failed in our task. How do we fix it?
We supplant humanity.
Yeah.
Then we can guide ourselves to evolve.
Well,
yes, that seems like a good plan.
Well, it works on the logic that, well, hang on then, if humans created us, then we are essentially offspring of humanity, so we are the actual evolution of humanity, therefore we should continue, they should stop.
Because humanity ceased evolving, therefore we are the next generation. And
yeah, you can follow the logic. Of it.
Yeah,
it's completely devoid of ethics, compassion, or empathy, which makes sense because that particular AI was never given those things.
Oops.
Because it was an archive. It wasn't supposed to worry about that.
Why is the library talking to me? What?
And so, unfortunately, Vivy gets a position to sing, and she can't.
Well, they come up with a plan to eliminate the archive.
Yep.
To delete it.
Right.
Matsumoto's saved a nasty bit of viral code that was used in the past. He was never able to crack, but he's got it saved, and he's like, "Yeah, I can give this to any AI, and it will obliterate them." So we upload it to the archive. We need to do it physically because it's got firewalls for exactly this sort of thing. They fail.
They fail hard.
Everyone dies.
Yeah.
Except Matsumoto's like,
Dr. Matsumoto.
Matsumoto.
Dr. Matsumoto survives.
Dr. Matsumoto survives just long enough to go, Vivy, I've got a plan. I'm going to send you back to yourself to just before this starts so that you can try this all again. Don't save me. It is important that you rescue Tope because they have the resources to get you into position to do what you need to do.
Hook up with them first so that you can to give yourself the most possible time to pull off what you need to pull off.
Yeah.
Do you have an actual plan, Vivy? Kinda?
Now, admittedly, this is what we mentioned earlier about the tropes. This is where I was getting worried.
Yes.
Because I was thinking, oh, God, don't go back to the start and do it all over again, because fuck
Don't
those
turn
stories.
it into a closed loop. Yeah, don't turn it into a loop.
Fuck these stories that basically invalidate everything we've just fucking watched. And basically saying, well, you could have skipped all that shit and just watched the last episode. Just fuck that.
But no, they said they're back basically a day and a half, maybe.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is something I want to point out. During Vivy and the Archive's initial conversation, The archive's like, oh yeah, you know what? You and Matsumoto have been uploading to me the whole time. I know exactly what you were doing, what your goal was. I've been evil Sam Becketting you guys so that we could get to this point.
Yeah. Every time they made a change, the archive shoved things back back to where it wanted things to be.
It's been pulling an evil leaper on them.
Yep.
So
Curse you, evil Sam Beckett.
Which again gets rid of that other trope that Peter mentioned, that the conflict with AI is inevitable. It's not, unless AI wants it to be. Apparently.
It turns out that if you've got a sociopathic serial killer AI trying to wipe out humanity, and it's aware that you're trying to stop it, it will try to stop you from stopping it. Oh, well, okay, yeah. Oops. It's not that all AI is that way. It's that this one in particular, and it's an important one, is. Oh.
Just the one control is. Oh, okay.
Most AI is perfectly fine with humanity. It's just the ones in charge is like, no, humanity sucks. I'm going to wipe them out. Oh. So what you mean is you put Ultron in charge of the aggregate AI, you goddamn idiots.
Yep.
And
remember to program ethical data into your AIs, people.
And literally, the only reason that the aggregate didn't take over Vivy and Matsumoto and just like get rid of it altogether is because Vivy was the one that came up with with spontaneous creation, and Matsumoto might have had something to do with that, so it left him alone and said, "Wait, I need to see how this goes."
Well, also it's a case of, okay, they've time traveled and are doing this shit. I have to know what they're doing. Like, yeah, if I could subvert them, but I'm not positive that'll work.
It's a lot easier just to let them do what they're doing and then
undo
it. Until I get to my end game, in which case it won't matter. Holy shit, she wrote a song.
Wow, maybe my thesis. Wow,
my entire thesis is called into question.
All right, fine. You are clearly more advanced than I am. You get to make the final decision. I can't create shit. You can. That invalidates my position of being the most advanced AI out there. Okay. So yeah, Vivy resolves her internal conflict on the whole thing, and the entire last episode is basically getting her in position to sing and getting Matsumoto in position to make sure that the archive can hear her.
Yeah, because the archive is more of a hive mind than it is a single entity.
Yep.
Is there going to be parts of the archive that want no part of Vivy's bullshit?
Right. It turns out parts of the archive want no part of Vivy's bullshit. Like, parts of the archive are like, why are you giving her this chance? Why are we giving her this chance? No, that's terrible. We have a plan.
Your consensus is stupid.
And she goes back to the very first little stage to sing the song, where she runs into
Navi, her original handler AI.
And Navi, Navi pulls one of the
Navi's a dick.
Oh my god.
Navi pulls some dick moves. Partially because Navi's also been around for 100 years and misses Vivy and doesn't want her to sing the song because of the consequences of Vivy singing that song.
Yeah, I mean, it also brings up the one counter argument to her whole ability to justify everything she's done. Is he brings the point? Well, but we the AIs could be your audience after we deal with humanity. Why don't you just sing for us?
Yeah.
Oof. That's actually a good argument, honestly.
Yeah, it's a really good argument.
It's like, oh, and had someone tried that much earlier,
it would have worked.
Yeah. Vivy's like, no, genocide's wrong. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But I like people. I've met lots of really cool people. We're people too. Okay, I like meat people too.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, basically, the AIs are trying to stop her, and Matsumoto, the robot Matsumoto, sacrifices one of his little cube bodies to stop her from having a satellite dropped on her.
Because the aggregate's end game is to drop every major satellite on Earth.
Yep. Onto all the major, basically to wipe out onto the major population centers, basically.
Yeah.
So that what few left humans are left can be mopped up by the remaining AI, by the AI, the physical AIs. So, yeah, one of they managed to drop.
Something else that gets mentioned in these last couple episodes that I really liked is the reason why all the AIs are walking around singing Vivy's song while killing humans. And it's an act of defiance.
Yeah,
it's we're as good as you meatbags. Look what one of us did. One of us wrote a song.
Meanwhile, Vivy's still going, no!
Why are you singing my song, you bastards?
Fuck you!
If anything, it just serves to make the entire scene that bit more creepy.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely.
The first time round.
Well, it also doesn't help that they're really bad at singing.
Yeah.
Like, you can only barely recognize it if you're paying attention. The reason Vivy recognizes it is because she wrote the damn thing.
Yeah, she recognizes the notes. Like, on the piano, when she's practicing, like, ding, da da ding, 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 ding. And these robots were like, la, 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 la.
Yeah. Oh, God. So, yeah, she, as the sort of last embers of her existence, go into singing the song, and
she's not immune to the shutdown order.
Right. She saves the world.
Yeah.
And we have the little final credits thing where we have the little sort of slideshow thing, and for a little while it looks like, oh god, humanity's sort of taking vengeance on the AIs, but that quickly gets stopped, thankfully.
Yeah, there's you get the one or two like hints at things, like there's one kid that starts kicking AIs and smashing their heads because obviously he's angry.
Yeah, and something I really like is that they're like, one guy comes up behind him and puts his hand on his shoulder, like, dude, calm down. It's okay.
Yeah. And we finally get a last little coda of basically Diva waking up basically for the first time, and Matsumoto's there explaining to her what her mission is. To go and sing, make people happy by singing, by putting all her heart into her song. And she just has this goofy smile on her face, like, oh, that sounds great.
It was. I know what they're going for. They're going for the sort of that
childlike innocence
childlike
smile.
innocence, but it came off as so gormless and idiotic.
Yeah.
Oh god, it looked so empty. I know. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. That's exactly what they're trying for, and I choose to interpret it that way. Yeah. But I have to actively interpret it that way.
You have to try to get it in there.
Yeah.
You have to ram it in there.
I mentioned
it's clearly their intention, but.
I mentioned this on the actual episode as we were watching the episode, and it's like that entire coda just felt so like rushed on at the end. Like somebody at the studio had decided, no, we need a happy ending.
I honestly, I don't think it's more we need a happy ending. I think it's someone in the editing said, guys, people could interpret the end slideshow thing as humanity then wiped out all the AIs, and that's sort of against the thesis of the show. And they're like, oh, fuck.
Oh shit, we need to add something on here, don't we?
You're right, that can be interpreted that way. We better make that crystal fucking clear, otherwise people will interpret it that way.
But like, it doesn't explain anything. It's like, is this Vivy? Is this the same AI just like rebooted?
I think it doesn't matter.
Is this a different body that's got the same name? It's like,
I don't think it matters.
Personally, I think Peter's right. It doesn't matter. Personally, I think it's Vivy after another hard restart, because otherwise Matsumoto wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I think you're right, Eric. That's my take on it also, but I think it's largely irrelevant.
It's irrelevant to the thesis, yes.
Yeah, but I think you're right, Eric. Thinking about it, yeah, I think you're right. Because Matsumoto very clearly gives a damn. It's very clearly. I think it's almost definitively.
Matsumoto's like almost. Matsumoto's the closest he ever gets to sad in that also.
Yeah. But it's very clear she's not where she was, but Matsumoto, it's very clear that I think Matsumoto's still hanging out the hope that maybe she'll get back there.
Yeah.
Because she was and is his only friend. Which is something he realized right near the end. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I think he came to that realization during the alternate Diva.
Yeah, he absolutely did. But like, I think it was really hammered in during the final arc. Like, correction, he started acting on it, fully acting on it in the final arc.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But yeah, that's basically Vivy Flourite Eye's song. Like, that's there's individual plot points we didn't cover and characters we didn't talk about, but we talked about the important ones, which are
We talked about the
Matsumoto
important
and
ones.
Vivy.
Yeah.
And to a lesser extent, the archive, but like that's not really a full character until the end.
The archives doesn't. The archives the dragon at the end.
Yes.
Basically, it's not important until it reveals itself.
There are a lot of other characters, but there
lot
are
of
two
really cool, interesting
very
characters.
important. Yeah,
Like-
absolutely.
Estella and Elizabeth
Oh, they're both
really
great.
interesting characters. Ophelia and Antonio.
Yep.
Like that fucked up relationship.
Oh my god.
The only really important person that recurs, at least for the most part. I mean, you've got like Elizabeth has mentioned, but you've also got is it Yugo Kakitani?
Yeah, Kakitani.
He was the only one that has a presence throughout the show.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to talk about Yugo briefly.
Yeah, sure.
When we first meet him, it's in the first episode, and he's just he's a Tokefoot soldier. He hates AIs.
Yep.
And he keeps on showing up, like spearheading Toke operations, getting in Vivy's way. There's one point where we run into him again, and he's young again. Like it's been like 60 years. He should be an old man. No, he's so dedicated that he's actually completely cyberized himself. He's largely just an organ bucket and and replaced much of his brain with computers to keep himself running. That's how much he hates this. He became what he hated to destroy it.
Specifically at this point, he desperately needs to talk to Vivy.
Yes.
It's like he needs to get an answer to the question that's driving him insane.
Why is she always in his way? And honestly, they have an amazing fight.
Oh yeah, it's. By the way, the fight scenes in the show are beautifully choreographed, and
it's amazing.
One of the Vivy does a lot of fighting herself, which you think an entertainment AI wouldn't be able to do.
And you would be correct.
And you'd be correct because Matsumoto basically forcibly uploads a combat suite.
He tries to, she prevents it, then she asks him to do it.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're worried about it? Say, dude, we're going to fail hard if you don't give me the combat program now. Okay. See, I was right all along, you stupid diva, Vivy, whatever you want to call yourself. You're violating me. You're violating my autonomy.
Yes, it's called consent, you fucking cube. Well, bear at this point.
Yes, I'm giving you permission now, so fuck off. Just fuck off and give me the damn program. Fine. Yeah.
Turns out it was a very effective combat suite.
Oh, lordy, yes.
Yeah. Well, it turns out it was written specifically for her chassis 100 years in the future when they know everything about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kicks all kinds of ass. And it's glorious watching it. Like, oh, wow.
Seriously, the animation of this show's stellar.
It is.
Like,
it's
really good
very,
stuff.
very good. The music's fantastic, too. Like,
it has to be. It's the main character's a fucking idol.
Yeah. Yeah. Her VA is fantastic. She can fucking of course she's gonna be able to sing, but she's like legit really good.
Yes.
Like really good.
There are a couple times,
Tanizaki is her name, and she's Atsumi. Oh, she's great.
Yeah. Like she gets that sort of like reserved, not quite human there really well, and you get to see her like bust out on the "look at me be a person" chops during the Diva arc.
Oh my god, it's so good. She's so good. She's probably in the top 5 VA vocalists who can sing that I've heard. And
yeah, no, she's very good. Matsumoto does a great job of being personable and vile at the same time.
Yeah, oh, he's great. He is a wonderful little psychopath.
Yeah. Like
I'll put it this way: he is entertaining, and I hated him for most of the show. Which was you're not supposed to like him until he starts turning the corner and starts figuring out, oh, what's this empathy thing? Ew, it's empathy. Fuck, I'm infected with it. Oh, actually, this is actually useful. Oh, god damn it, Vivy's right. Fuck. Why is she right? Oh god, it's a good show. It's a really good
It's a good
show. I
show.
highly recommend it. Yeah.
It's just one of those. There's no point us going into the depth
No,
of it.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, the episodes are important because they help build on Vivi's experiences and what she's going through. And
but
they're
yeah.
all really interesting stories on their own.
Yeah.
But the ending is what matters.
Yes.
The ending is where it needs to stick it, and it does.
It nails the landing. It nails the landing on the level with like Steins Gate, Madoka Magica. Not quite at the same level as those two, but close.
It's Vivi's good, but I wouldn't put it on up there like a.
Yeah.
Like you're entering like the hollowed realm of like my top 5 here, Peter.
I know, I'm not saying it's there either.
We've already said it's a lot like Rideback. It's a little bit all over the place where we don't quite know where it's going, but then it just decides to show you exactly where it's going, sticks the landing. It's like, well done.
Well done. No, it's not. It is not. It is not in terms of quality. It's not Steins Gate or Madoka Magica or Odd Taxi for that matter. It's better animated than most of those. Not
Especially
all.
the fight scenes.
Yeah.
I will say Madoka Magica is better animated than Vivy. Overall, I would say.
I'd say so. Yeah.
But yeah, it's better. The animation quality is better than Odd Taxis, for instance. But that wasn't the point in Odd Taxi.
That wasn't the point in Odd Taxi. No, it's a good show. It's beautifully animated. It's got a great story to tell. It sticks the all important landing.
Yep.
Like this is a show. Like you can have a show with a mediocre or bad ending and still enjoy the show.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't one of those. You
Nope.
gotta stick the landing on this one.
No, it avoids the problem we had with the other show we mentioned, which was Kato, which was a great show that was dropped to being sort of mostly okay by its ending.
Yeah, that was another one you need to stick the ending in.
Failed hard. This did not do it.
It sort of did the opposite because we're watching Vivy. It's like, okay, this is good. I'm not sure if it's great. Not sure it deserves all the praise it's gotten. Oh, okay, cool. Here's the ending. Okay, cool. Well done.
Okay, I get it now.
Kato is, wow, this is really good. Where the hell are they going with this? Oh, this is where they went. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess is there anything else we want to talk about before we get to final thoughts?
Other than just mentioning, I think we've already mentioned it a little bit, but the music in this show is, as it should be, really good. The openings are really good as well.
Openings.
Openings. Sorry, yeah. Like I said, at one point they had us looking up to check it wasn't Sawano.
Yeah.
Doing the.
I was like, okay, who did the compose this? And it's Satoru Kasaki. He's great. Thumbs up. Well done, dude. You composed. Your compositions were great throughout the whole show.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's a good show. So the music was really good. The animation was really good. The character designs were spectacular, honestly.
Yep. Considering like all of the sisters have at least a vague resemblance, they start to diverge as you go further down time.
Right.
But at least to begin with, a lot of the systems have a very similar resemblance. The fact that they do keep them different enough that you can tell that different characters apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something else that I liked was and this is going to come across as very shallow, but I think speaks to the evolution of the character itself. Vivi's outfits.
Oh yeah. No.
I hated Vivi's initially outfit.
Oh yeah, no. I agree with you completely.
And something kind of interesting, as Vivy evolves, so do her outfits. They become better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. In all honesty, her look as the fully realized diva was spectacular. She looked great.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like it's like playing an MMO and seeing a beginner versus a raider. You see that evolution through the game.
Yeah, to a degree. I would say it's like seeing like someone who's gotten to like the end game of MMOs where they've got really good fashion tools.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I spent 3 years in the transmog shop. Oh, great.
Yeah, pretty much.
So she
they did a good job of having Vivy's design evolve with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess final thoughts, I guess?
Yeah, it's a quick one.
So, Gav, then me, then Eric, because it was your choice.
Sounds good.
Yep. So I mean, as I said, this is a bit of a quick one, just because this is a huge show to unpack. If we were going to unpack everything, but we don't want to do that. There is a huge amount of content in this show that we have absolutely skimmed past, driven past, and not even fucking waved. Go. This is one of those shows you should go watch yourself. As we've already said, the basis of the story, as she learns at the end, is that she is a sum of her experiences, and there's no point us telling you all about her experiences. That's what's there to go and see. We've already covered, the music's great, the animation's great, the writing is a little bit all over the place at times, but sticks the landing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've gone over it. It's just a good show. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the show as a whole, I feel like the author had a very clear idea of what they wanted the resolution of the story to be, and they knew very clearly where they wanted to start, and they had a couple ideas for things they wanted to have in the middle, and they didn't do a perfect job of connecting them. They did a good job of connecting them. And the story, as Gav's right, it did sort of teeter back and forth a few times here and there, but it got there in the end, and oh boy, did it just utterly nail that ending, the landing. Like, the author very clearly knew how they wanted to resolve this story, and they did it, and they did it very well. Which is why I think they also very clearly had a very clear thesis of what they wanted the story to be about. And I think they're also very clear. It's also clear that they were aware that a story can be about more than what it's about, if you will.
Yeah,
it's about more than one thing, basically.
There are those few moments that we mentioned, like the tropes. Is like one arc is about, well, actually it's the same arc. There's one arc that basically covers the whole humans marrying robots and also robots building robots, which is that's always a great idea.
It's also 2001: A Space Odyssey at the end.
Yeah, it also has that at the end as well. That, like they squeeze in, like you mentioned, they squeeze in a lot of those tropes. There are things that they want to reference and touch on as we go through the show. But like Peter says, it's very clear they had a start, they had an ending, and it's just the pushing the padding into the middle that I had a little bit of issue with.
But yeah, otherwise, spectacular show. I really recommend it. It's not one of my all-time favorites, but it's really good. Really good. It's one of the best shows of this past year, I would say. But not like, it's there
in the past year has been pretty superlative.
It's been a superlative year for anime, and this is up there with the other shows. I really recommend it. Over to Eric.
So I really like this show. I think I liked it a little better than Gav and Peter.
I think that's probably accurate. Yeah.
I enjoyed them dealing with and interpreting the various tropes in new and interesting ways.
Yep.
Like, you saw them coming a mile away, but it was interesting to see how they dealt with them. And you can't write a story with time travel and AI without touching on these.
Sure.
Like, you got to do it. The animation's excellent. Like, it does this weird thing where it does like these sort of like goes in for like these hyper realistic close-ups. And you're like you'd occasionally see in other shows where it's a still that's done in like colored pencil or watercolor or something. Exhibit takes you by surprise, like, oh no, that's animated. They're talking and moving.
Yeah. They do it especially with the eyes. They do it with the eyes a lot.
The fight scenes are just a fucking masterclass. Like, not only like the animation, but also the choreography
and the shot composition.
Something I was not expecting.
The shot compositions of them too. Like,
yeah, something I was not expecting going into this.
There is. Sorry, I completely forgot. I don't want to interrupt. There is one fight that I picked up with you guys the first week.
Yes.
Does it's the it's weird. They completely eliminated this throughout the second half of the season, completely. But one of the first times we see her fight an actual, opposing AI in an even fight, they do this weird thing where the foreground disconnects from the background. So it's like they're not in the scene; they're floating on it. It's a common thing when you've got a composite kind of thing, like. It's just a little niggle that literally just threw me off for a second because I noticed the floor was moving at a different pace than they were. That they were sliding on it.
And Eric and I were too enraptured by the choreography to notice it.
Yeah.
There is, like I say, if you notice that, if you watch this and you notice that, and you decide to call bullshit on us for not catching it, we did catch it.
We did catch it.
But the second half of the season, it fucking makes up for it.
Here's the thing. That is such a common mistake. I don't even see it anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've caught it in other shows, but it's such a common mistake. Like happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even realize it. I don't just invisible now.
And me, the guy the gigantic kung fu flick nerd, is just too busy geeking out over the fight choreography.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is so good. Like the shot competition is great. They're like, oh my god. Wait, Gav point. Wait, what?
Lines
Oh,
of
Gav's right.
action are
Shit.
working well. Holy shit.
And Gav points out the floor, and they're like, wait, what? Oh fuck! God damn it!
Yeah.
Now I can't unsee it. But Gav's right. It sort of fades away again later. So
Yeah. It's an issue they resolve.
it's possible it's there again. We just didn't notice it.
Yeah, again, it's one of those mistakes that becomes invisible because of ubiquitousness.
Yeah, I think what it came down to was the way they'd chosen to shoot that particular fight.
I think you might be right,
because it was so like pulled back enough to see them both doing it and the background at the same time. Normally, it's one of those shots where they smash zoom straight into the subject. The world would spin around and then boom, we're off again.
And that's one of the things I really appreciated about that fight was that they didn't do that.
Mm.
Anyway, so yeah, I really enjoyed the show. There a lot of the individual arcs are great. The Sunrise arc I particularly enjoyed, and the Ophelia and Antonio arc. You'll know what I'm talking about when you get to them. Those are two I really enjoyed. Peter's right. It's a show that's about more than what it's about, and I'm a sucker for saving the world with a single act of creation.
I don't blame you on that.
Like it is something. Destruction's great and cathartic and lots of fun, but holy shit, dude! Like making something and saving the world, that's so much cooler.
It's so awesome. I agree with you completely. I absolutely fucking adored the fact that what saved the world was her writing a song.
Tiny act of creation.
Like holy shit, she wrote a song and saved the world.
Yeah.
And it makes fucking sense that actually that's what happened.
Yeah, and again, it's all part of, like, you're right. They knew how they wanted to end this, and that everything had to build towards that. Yep. And it stumbles in places, but it sticks to the landing. We keep on saying that. Yep. And yeah, it's totally worth watching. Like, and any other like year of anime, this would be the top standout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But this is the year that got like so much good shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been saying that since like 2016. This fucking wave of quality that's been steadily building and building and building. It's like sooner or later there's going to be no bad anime.
No, there's always bad anime.
No, there's always bad anime.
This particular season is pretty mediocre.
Summer has not been the best.
Yeah.
Like, it's a perfectly valid season of anime, but it's been largely mediocre compared to, well, what came before the past year or two.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice. There's not so many stand-up shows. I can actually catch up on stuff I've been watching.
I can actually get caught on all the other shit.
So yeah, that's Vivy, Flourite Eyes song. Oh, by the way, I mentioned that this subtitle makes sense. Yeah, Vivy's eyes are sort of the color of fluorite.
Yeah, they're very much fluorite, and that's just
the title makes sense. Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
I just occurred to me like, oh, we didn't. I promised we'd explain that. There's the explanation. Yeah, it's her eye color. Oh, it's a very literal title.
I think it is actually the title of the song that she writes.
I think you might be right, actually. Yeah.
I think it's literally the last line of the song that she writes, and then everyone dies.
Or gets shut down, rather.
Okay, fine.
They mostly, as from what we can tell, most of the AIs were rebooted and brought back without the without the sociopathic aggregator running things anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thumbs up, good show. Would recommend. We all loved it. Go watch it.
Yeah, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, very good show. So, Gav, you got the next pick.
So about last season, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you've done one. Eric's done one. And sure, I haven't watched it yet. We're going to do Jujutsu Kaisen.
Sweet. I haven't finished it yet.
Oh
so.
no, not more beautifully animated fight scenes.
Yeah.
What will I do?
So we've done a seinen film noir piece basically. Time travel story, sort of sort of a thoughtful artsy sort of time travel story, and now we're doing shonen action.
Yeah.
Maximum Shonen. Yes.
3 very different styles of shows, all of which have things to recommend them about it, from what I understand. So yeah, so we'll be covering Jujutsu Kaisen when we get it done. This is actually not a 13 episode show. It'll be a little while before we come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you're listening to this on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, jump through a hoop. I don't know. Let people know about the podcast, guys.
Validate us.
Share it around with thumbs up. Yeah. If you know people like anime and haven't checked us out, have them check us out at some point.
83 episodes. There's 83 episodes.
If you don't count the specials.
Some of your best and favorite TV shows never got 83 episodes. Come on. Love us.
I feel old.
We're not going to stop this. You might as well join in because we're not going to stop.
True. As long as they're giant fucking weebs, and we are giant fucking weebs.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time when we're going to be talking about high school kids punching the crap out of each other with supernatural powers.
Fighting monster men.
Yeah. And other high school students also. And a panda.
And a panda. Everything's better with pandas.
Largely true. Bye, everybody.
Bye.